Welcome to On This Day in History. Today, we journey back to June 26, 1945, a date that symbolizes humanity's enduring hope for peace amidst the ashes of global conflict. On this day in San Francisco, representatives from 50 nations gathered to sign the United Nations Charter, a foundational document designed to prevent future world wars and foster international cooperation. It was a moment born from the devastation of World War II, driven by a desperate need for a new global order. The world in 1945 was scarred by two devastating global wars and the recent revelation of the Holocaust's horrors. The League of Nations, formed after World War I to prevent future conflicts, had tragically failed. Leaders recognized that a stronger, more inclusive international body was desperately needed. The concept for the United Nations began to take shape during World War II, with the Allied powers envisioning an organization built on collective security, human rights, and economic cooperation. Key milestones paved the way: the Atlantic Charter in 1941, the Declaration by United Nations in 1942, and crucial conferences at Dumbarton Oaks, 1944, and Yalta, early 1945, laid the groundwork for the UN's structure and purpose. These meetings, involving the Big Four, United States, United Kingdom, Soviet Union, and China, hammered out the framework for what would become the General Assembly, the Security Council, the International Court of Justice, and other crucial organs. The San Francisco Conference convened in April 1945, just weeks before Germany's surrender, and while the war in the Pacific still raged. Delegates from 50 nations debated, refined, and sometimes fiercely disagreed over every article of the proposed charter. Smaller nations fought for greater representation, while the major powers, especially the soon-to-be permanent members of the Security Council, asserted their right to veto, a contentious issue that nearly derailed the entire process. Despite the intense negotiations and the fresh wounds of war, a spirit of common purpose ultimately prevailed. On June 26, 1945, in a solemn ceremony, the representatives signed the United Nations Charter. It officially came into force on October 24, 1945, after being ratified by the 5 permanent members of the Security Council: China, France, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and the United States, and a majority of other signatory states. The Charter established the UN's primary goals: maintaining international peace and security, developing friendly relations among nations, achieving international cooperation, and being a center for harmonizing the actions of nations. The UN Charter is a remarkable document. It outlines the rights and obligations of member states and establishes the principal organs and procedures of the UN. Unlike the League of Nations, it allows for military intervention, via the Security Council, to enforce peace. Its emphasis on human rights, self-determination, and fundamental freedoms was revolutionary for its time, laying the groundwork for many subsequent international laws and conventions. It was a declaration of interdependence in a world that had just seen the devastating consequences of extreme nationalism. Over the decades, the United Nations has faced immense challenges, including the Cold War divisions, numerous regional conflicts, and failures to prevent atrocities. Yet its enduring power lies in its role as a global forum for dialogue, diplomacy, and cooperation. From peacekeeping missions and humanitarian aid to promoting sustainable development and defending human rights, the UN has profoundly impacted millions of lives and shaped international relations in countless ways. The signing of the United Nations Charter on June 26, 1945, was more than just a bureaucratic act. It was a profound statement of collective will to build a better, more peaceful future from the ruins of war. It represents humanity's continuous aspiration to overcome conflict through collaboration, dialogue, and a shared commitment to universal values. For more deep dives into pivotal historical moments, make sure to follow us.